Okay, so I don't know where I left off last time, but I think it was around explaining what the zines are. So the inspiration behind the zines, first of all, um, it's it it's been it's kind of like growing of an art form and condensing and refining. It's kind of like bringing thought patterns down to colors or flavors or the same kind of interpretation it takes to understand something terrible from uh, not only a different perspective but a compassionate perspective. Different flavors of compassion and depth and zooming in and out of storylines of our reality and being American. Like people are talking about starting communities and uh, all of these wonderful ideas, and I'm always asking myself, are we going deep enough? Are our roots going deep enough into? Are we zooming out enough to see how how what's happened in our land? Who is our and us and we and they, and what are all these lines and labels that have been distributed to us, largely for confusing magic and dependency programming, desensitization programming to create a frequency, a vibration, a collective vibration that allows people to be um, obedient and in a state of constant um, jittery, busy, unaware, um, kind of uh, complacent chaos, and just like really um, missing the magic and the magic of chaos in our existence in every moment, in our skin, in in the planets as the fabric of reality. We are here and there simultaneously, wherever that is, wherever you can imagine, and then some. So these storylines come down to the very nature of our, our tribal mentalities of how we live and what the stories are underneath this earth, this place we call home. And I'll start with my perspective of being born in Berkeley, California, and raised in Oakland through the Bay Area, and realizing the story of the Ohlone people in this reality, seeing seeing this world boom into existence, and kind of just like uh, overshadow um, all kinds of stories, and they overlap. They go inter. This was episode 1 of this. I was just using these as example, but this is episode 1. This is episode 2 but the the focus of the stories overlapping and being the same story and originating from however perspective you want to see it, but we're always going to go back to the Olmecs. For me, if you're talking about America, you're going to go to the Olmecs. So the Olmecs, like being the Olmecs, we walk. So we showed up here. These stories, they go. It's very important what we're doing, how we're doing what we're doing, and what we're saying, what we're doing, who we're talking to and who we're not talking to, what we're talking about and what we're not talking about. Because there are various storylines that are going on, and we're all talking about the same stuff. We get caught up in some of the illusions that are we call heavier because they have a wider perspective through the media and all this other stuff. That makes no. That is part of the movie. That is part of just another layer of existence that we call a reality, but it's not our reality if we know that roots go way deeper than those stories even have a leg to stand on. So if you call yourself an American, whatever you are, you're going to have to eventually mention where these roots, where are these people, who are these people. So I'm going to start from the Ohlone because we are on Ohlone land here. And then anywhere beyond that you can fit in between is going to link back to the Olmecs, which links back to walkers and our origins being the Americas. There's origins that are American, and we are Americans. And this is who we know these, or we remember these stories. There's family members that I have family members that have dreams. I've had dreams of us being in these places when there was no, it was just open, and we were in those settings running down these trails, and like there's so many flashes. Once you tap into your dreams and remember your dreams, you start seeing different versions of yourself, different versions of the same story being played out at different times. It's connecting the dots, this like quantum dot connecting in some layer when you're in your dreams, and it gets pretty intense. So I kind of shrink these stories down into layers of how they feel to me and how the storyline is connecting through, like, connecting the dots. And time after time, this story gets linked back to Saturn, and in one version of reality, and I just put it in some stories and some zines. I used to write a lot more, and I still do, and I go to open mics every now and again, and little poetry outlets. But this comes in waves, so this wave has been just shrinking it down into like a little paper version, something storyline, and I'll just go into one. So this was the first one. See if you can see it. So it's Chief Joseph. They'll fight no more forever. There we go. So, Christopher Columbus, this is basically noting the pre-Columbian era of our story. History is part of our story. History is just the story being told today. And the story being told today is after Columbus. So, funny, haha. This links back to the, well, you can see for yourself, but it's just the psychological, how I saw it, the deepest part of how I see this is the psychological part, the psychological roots that get planted from something as innocent as a Barbie doll. We think it's as innocent as a Barbie doll, but these are deep, deep programs. And they are all connected to various layers of our reality. And that's it. This is part of another thing. So here's more Saturn stuff from the what we call our marriage, the rings, and our connections. The cube on top of Saturn, and linking it into our television sets, cable. Then you have the cube, opening of the cube, exposing the cross. The Nike symbol, television signals. It's another part of it on the other page. So this is for the fluoride in the water, and beyond the fact that it exists, now being labeled as a toxin. But the idea itself, like why, knowing what we know now, why, and what kind of intelligence was behind that, like knowing they knew, because this had been done already. Why do this to, I always speak directly in relation to like babies drinking this water. Like these are our babies drinking this water, and there's toxic stuff in there. It's really sad story. So this brings up the university system, the university, the creators of your universe. That's what the magic of that word is. And satellites as universities as satellites, and like in UC Berkeley, you go into the campus, they have 2 pine cones over the name of the campus, University of California, and like you're entering in their pineal perspective, which is their ideas of your connection to the universe, your university. So it's just the basic like the Colosseum perspective, the sex that's being sold in every part of reality. This is another layer of control, stealing moments, and playing with vibrations and frequencies, just like changing the music, the harmonics, the frequencies of 440 from 432, the natural frequencies of the planet, our music. There are various layers, and to create an idea of reality and what we call our needs of existence, and we don't even know how far to go on a regular basis of like, what do we call our history, what do we call each other, our community, what are we going to do, how are we going to do this. Like, it gets overwhelming when you see it from that perspective. But when we all stop in a moment, take a breath, and realize that we're floating through the galaxy on a planet together, and there's stuff that we got to do for each other. It looks a little different, and money starts to look a little different. That's why I use this parchment paper, because it's you can feel like the magic that's getting used. And this is good, what we call good paper, like papyrus, and it's there's various layers that these stories get told, and they get told to our subconscious layer, and we see them and we call them like, this is our reality. This is what this is who I am. This is what I am. This is what, like what we are, what we do. And they create these images that they create these images